Hey there friends, my name is Lauren. I'm the maker behind Vintage Knitting Party and welcome to another podcast episode. This is podcast number 2 from December 2022. It is the last month of the year. On the date that I'm recording this, it's the 23rd of December, so I'm recording it a little bit early for you so I can have a little Christmas break and schedule this. Once again, we have birds chirping outside. We also have some miscellaneous neighbour noises because they have all decided to mow their lawns at once, which is really fun. Sorry about the noise. I have a cup of tea. This is my tomato soup mug. I cannot help myself every time I see a soup mug when I'm out and about at the op shop. I just have to buy one, you know? I have some exciting things to share with you guys. So we're going to talk about all the knitting that I've been doing because I feel like that's what you're really here for. Then I'm going to have a bit of a chit chat with you at the end. So if you want to stick around for that, you can. Otherwise, if you're just here for the knitting, we're just going to jump right into it. The first thing that I have to share with you is a finished object. I'm so excited. Let me get my tea out of the way. Okay. Yay! This is the rainbow jumper. It is a pattern originally published by Lavender in the 1940s. It's a fairly common 1940s knitting pattern, I believe, and I think it has also been made more popular by the film Jojo Rabbit with Scarlett Johansson. The sweater that she wears in the film is a very different color scheme, obviously, and it also has a different neckline. I'll see if I can put a picture of it up here for you. And I think the film just made this pattern even more popular. You can find it for free lots of places online. I will also pop it up for free on my website if you want to have just a handy dandy little link down in the description to a free download. It's a very, very simple pattern. The pattern is just knit in pieces and then you seam it together. We've got ribbing down the bottom. I only did 3 inches of ribbing at the bottom and I kind of wish I did 4. I did lengthen the the pattern portion by 1 inch, so it ended up being the same length as the original pattern, but I wish that I did the original amount of ribbing, which was 4 inches, and then I wish I also added in that extra inch like I did to the pattern segment, just because it is a little bit short on me, perhaps. What can I say about this? I had always been interested in this pattern, but I sort of was like, maybe in the future, I don't know, would I really wear it? Is it really me? And then I saw Sarah from The Vintage Sewer on Instagram, and she shared a reel with all 5 sweaters that she has made. And the way I gasped, I was like, excuse me? You've made 5 of these and all of the color combinations are perfect. They were all so beautiful. So I think I saw that reel and I was like, I must. This is going to be in my near future. I did already have something else lined up that I wanted to knit first, but I was like, okay, this has really solidified it for me. I know that I'm going to be wanting to knit this. And then Killer Kitsch Designs, her handle is KillerKitsch13 on Instagram, shared that she wanted to have a knit along featuring this jumper and everyone was going to knit it at the same time, super flexible, no beginning date, no end date. And I just knew it was time. I was like, this is meant to be. It was literally like a day or 2 later that she announced that she wanted to do this knit along. So many amazing people are doing it. The hashtag is Lavender Rainbow Jumper KAL. So you can follow the hashtag and see all the other amazing versions that are out there. This took me 5 weeks in total to make, I think, which is pretty good for me. I'm not a particularly fast knitter and I've been extremely busy with work leading up to the end of the year. The pattern originally recommends fingering weight, but I did a swatch of DK because I'd seen other people knit it up in this weight and it looked amazing. I actually think I like it even better because the pattern really stands out because it's so nice and chunky. And when I did my swatch, I just did my calculations to try and fit my bust measurement instead of the original pattern. And it actually worked out that the original number of stitches, but in the DK weight with the bigger needles, fitted my bust measurement. I'm about a 40-inch bust perfectly. So if you are also a 40-inch bust and you are also wanting to knit this in a DK weight, just follow the instructions. I did originally want to make it smaller in the waist and then add in some shaping to make it bigger. You know what I mean? Like give it a little bit more shape because it looked a bit rectangular, but I actually just ripped it out. I didn't end up doing that. So just follow the instructions, it'll work. The one thing that I would consider not following the instructions on are the sleeves. No, you should follow the instructions. You should always follow the instructions. But when I knit the sleeves up, they were, you can see in one of the Instagram posts that I put up when I posted the pieces of the pattern, but they're a really weird shape. It means that there's a lot of like gathering that needs to happen around the sleeve head. I didn't end up knitting shoulder pads for these, which I probably should have. It'll probably give it a really cute shape, but I just haven't yet. And yeah, the gathering is nice. Again, probably like a little bit more length on the sleeve would have been nice, although I'm a fairly long human overall. The yarn is all secondhand. I think I had all of the alternating colors, the coral, orange, cream, and pink, just as scraps to begin with. I used a little under 100 grams for each color, probably about 80 grams, maybe. I can weigh them, and if it's not 80 grams, I'll put something up on the screen. Otherwise, 80 is about spot on. And I already had a little bit of this dark brown color, so I went to the nest to see if I could find anything similar, and I picked up a little bit more in pretty much the same shade. One of the sleeves is slightly different. You can see this brown is a little bit different to this brown, but that's okay. All up in the dark brown color, I think I used about 250 grams. I seamed it together using the same dark brown yarn, and I did the 2 buttonholes using these wooden buttons that I already had in my stash. I love this one overall. I think if I were to knit it again, I might just make it like a bit longer in places. I was originally worried about it being a little bit tight, but I actually think it's perfect. I'll insert some footage of me wearing it with the corduroy skirt that I made recently. I think they would make a really cute outfit together. But what I really need is to make a pair of 1940s trousers that are all like loose and flowing. And I just think that would be the perfect outfit. I have one more finished object for you, and I don't actually have them with me because they were a gift knit. I'm sorry. I actually don't even have a photo of them completely finished. I have a photo that I posted to Instagram of one of them completely finished and one of them halfway through. The reason I didn't have enough time to have a photo shoot with them is because I stayed up to a really unreasonable hour trying to finish them one night, because my Secret Santa for work was actually leaving early to go on a trip for Christmas. So I needed to get them to her with plenty of time to spare so that she could enjoy them over the holidays. They are, I should talk about what the pattern actually is. They are the Feeling Fruity socks by Charlotte from Stone Knits. Obviously, I'm a huge fan of Charlotte. I've fallen in love with color work. I'm so excited to knit all of her socks. The yarn that I used is all Cascade Heritage sock yarn. I just used a bunch of different colors. I had placed a really big online order with a lot of different earthy tones, and I put together the colors that I used out of that collection from the order that I had made. I loved knitting these socks. I think they are so cute. I am really excited to knit them again in all different colors. I would love to make ones with raspberries on them. I actually have this yarn that I think would be the perfect raspberry color. Isn't that just beautiful? I think it's so pretty. So you'll just have to trust that I actually have a finished object, and you will have to trust the half-finished photo that I took of them. I apologize for that. I just did not have time or energy for a photo shoot for those ones. Now I have 2 whips on the go, which is fairly typical for me. I usually have a bigger project going, as well as a pair of socks. And I am actually doing my first ever test knit. This is for Simone from Rust Knitwear. I love everything that she makes. I think her designs are so beautiful. I had never knit anything from the Lines collection, but I had been really interested in it. And I was just thinking that I needed another pair of socks to cast on after the Feeling Fruity socks, but I didn't quite think I was ready for color work again yet. But I also didn't want to just knit a vanilla sock because I wanted something with a little bit of interest. So I am actually test knitting these ones for her. I love how they're turning out. I think they're so cute. This is a little stitch marker that I made just out of polymer clay. He's a little mushroom. It took me just a little while to get the hang of the like little cable pattern that makes up the lines, but now that I've gotten the hang of it, it's actually so addictive. I'm loving knitting on these. They've been really, really fun. This is just the first sock. I think the pattern comes out on the 10th of January, so we've still got a little bit of time to wait until then. I'm so sorry, but I will definitely have both feet done by then, because this is just, I've like just started this and I'm already so far of the way through. It is interesting doing a test knit. I guess obviously with a test knit you are potentially not getting the finished version of the pattern, but so far I found it extremely clear. It is interesting probably just because I am such a pattern hacker. I'm like, if I don't like the heel of a sock, if I don't like the length of a bodice, I will just change things willy-nilly, which is actually probably not a very good idea. So it's actually really difficult to just stick to a pattern and like not think about what I want to change about it, but it's probably a good thing, honestly. I'm knitting size D, and I actually think these are going to be the perfect size for my partner. If they're a little bit small for him, I'll just end up keeping them for myself for bed socks, but I don't think these are strictly going to be like a Christmas present, because Christmas is literally in 2 days and that won't be possible, but I'm excited to give them to him. He knows that I make videos, but I don't think he watches them because I tell him all of this stuff anyway. Like, we're sitting on the couch, I'm like, look at my thing, but he doesn't yet know that these exist. He knows that I'm doing a test knit, but he has no idea. So I'm excited to give these to him. Sorry, again, the yarn is Cascade Heritage sock yarn. It's the only sock yarn I've used pretty much, and it's actually also my favorite. I'm the sort of person, when I go to a restaurant and I order one thing just to try the restaurant for the first time, it's probably what I'm going to order for the next 5 years. So I'm probably never going to use a different sock yarn. But yeah, that's what I'm using. I think this might be the color Cinnamon. I can't remember, but it's a beautiful color. Now, I pretty much don't have anything to show you for this whip yet, but this, I've literally just cast on the Conga sweater. The pattern is an original 1940s vintage pattern by Patterns and Baldwin's, and I am knitting it in this beautiful Bellissimo knitting yarn that I got secondhand. It is a beautiful color. It's really hard to describe, but it's brown with like hints of green and purple and white. It's got all of these lovely flecks. And I think when I originally spoke about this, either in my last podcast or in my knitting plans for 2023 video, I think I said that I thought this was maybe a little bit heavier than a fingering weight yarn, but I totally lied. I think it's actually a little bit lighter. It's quite small. So I think it's going to make a really nice floaty sweater. I did a swatch and the fabric was beautiful. It's really nice and soft. It's really nice and airy. I think it'll be the perfect long sleeve sweater for me to wear in the climate in which I live. It's just going to be beautiful. I'm so excited. I did change the size that I'm knitting. So from memory, the pattern is for a 32 or 34 inch bust, maybe? Okay, so the pattern, yeah, is either for a 32 or 34 inch bust. I obviously am a 40 inch bust, but from the gauge that I am reading, like from the pattern and my calculations, there's about half an inch of negative ease for each of those sizes that they have written into the pattern. So I went for 39.5 inches to be my finished product based on the gauge that I've got. So to do that, I added in 16 stitches for the front and 16 stitches for the back, which is a total of 32 inches more. And that means that I ended up casting on 260 stitches in the round. So this is such a mess. I am knitting this one in the round. I thought about just knitting it flat, but I had always wanted to try and change up a vintage pattern to knit it in the round instead of seaming it, mostly because I don't love seaming. I thought this one would be a good one to change because it's all just stockinette and I do not want to be purling for half of it. I've got some more little stitch markers on here that I made just out of polymer clay. They're so cute. And to be honest, next month when I update you, I'm probably still going to be working my way through the ribbing. There's a lot of stitches on here. It's very, very small. It's going to take me a little while, and that is okay. It is a little bit weird in feeling, I think, like going from a DK weight sweater that took me 5 weeks to make from start to finish to something that is probably going to take me 3 or 4 months to finish. I obviously don't want to discourage you from watching my podcast, and I would love for there to be like new and exciting finished objects every single month, but it's just not the reality. Like, I don't know, I was thinking about this because I was sitting down to film this video and I was like, oh, I don't feel like I have enough to show. Like, maybe I should wait a few more days and I can like get a little bit more on my socks. And I was like, that's ridiculous. Like, that is the opposite of why I wanted to start sharing what it is that I make, because I want to share what is actually realistic for me to make in a month. And this is huge. Like, this is a lot to be making in 5 weeks. So, you know, I'm really impressed by this. I have a whole sweater. I mean, it's summer, I can't even wear it, but like, I don't know, it's wild to me like how quickly some people can pump out their knitting. It's good, like it's amazing, like well done to them, that's really cool, but it's just not realistic for my life. I already have a full-time job. I am busy and I know that if I knit too much, I actually get like RSI in my wrists, and I don't want to fall out of love with this hobby. I really enjoy it. I want to do this for my whole life, so I don't want to feel as though I have to be finishing things left, right and center and then burning out from it almost just because I spend all day every day knitting. That's just not how I want to be. I like it being like a treat at the end of the evening when I've done all my work, dishes are done, life is taken care of, and I actually just get to sit down and like watch The Office and do some knitting. It's a reward, like it's something really exciting that I get to do, and I'm really happy about that. So if you're looking for lots of sweaters all the time, like 12 sweaters a month, like that's probably not going to be happening for me, especially knitting fingering weight sweaters. But that's okay because they're much more practical for my life. I will get much more wear out of them and I'm going to love them. I guess another admin type thing that I wanted to mention, thank you for all the encouragement. Thank you for all the encouragement in general. I want to mention that I feel as though I've had a very warm welcome to the internet. Everybody has been really lovely. I've gotten some beautiful comments. I'm actually blown away that anybody has watched these videos to the end, that anybody has subscribed or liked or commented. It's actually kind of wild to me, but I'm very appreciative. To anybody who has shown their support, anyone who's given me a kind word. I've already met some really beautiful friends and that's been really fun. I'm really excited to see where this goes. This is just a hobby for me. Like I said, I've already got a full-time job. I do not need another one. But it has been really fun to share what I make. There's only so many times I can ramble to my partner about my knitting plans or like, look at this jumper that I saw on the internet. And he's like, okay, like that's nice. And he's supportive, but it's fun to talk to other people about it as well. I think that's everything that I wanted to share with you guys. The shirt that I'm wearing today is the McCall's 8180. She's got one of those giant ridiculous collars that I love. If you want to have a little bit of a closer look at this, I shared it in my last video, which was everything that I made in 2022. That video was really fun to make. So thank you so much for all your kind comments on that video. I think that's everything that I had to share with you guys today. So I might just sign off and leave you with this. I hope you guys have a really beautiful New Year's. I think by the time I upload this, Christmas will have already gone. I hope you got to spend a bit of time with your families or loved ones, or you at least got to eat a lot of food. And I hope that everybody has a really beautiful New Year's. If you've had a sucky year, I'm there with you. I'm so glad it's over. But also, we've all made it through in one piece for the most part, which is a really exciting thing. So there is something there to be grateful for. I'm really looking forward to seeing what the new year brings, and I hope you all get to celebrate. Thank you so much. Bye.